She goes, I went from an F to a B minus. And I had like tears in my eyes.
Welcome to Adventure CEO Leadership Insights.
Oh, wow.
Continuing conversation with entrepreneurial CEOs and modern day adventurers,
So I've always wanted to have fun.
sharing their highs, lows, and lessons learned
I had $6 in my bank account.
on the path to continually expanding opportunities for their families, their teams, and the communities they serve.
We invite you to join the conversation.
Featuring Michelle Mehta. Michelle is a best-selling author, a TEDx speaker, a coach to working moms, and most importantly, what we're going to talk about today, a coach to teens. Please welcome Michelle Mehta.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Jeff, for that wonderful introduction.
Already a successful life coach with busy moms, Michelle resonated with teens when she had the opportunity to speak with them and work with them.
But in May of 2019, I got invited to be at Career Day at my middle school, old middle school. And I shared with them the evil voices that they have. I said, how many of you have evil voices inside of your head? Every single hand went up. And there were 100 kids that day between the ages of 11 to 14. 100
Oh
out of
my
100
gosh.
kids said, yes, I do. And I asked them, what are these voices telling you? Jeff, I'm not good enough. I'm not loved enough. I'm overweight. I'm not smart enough. I'm an idiot. And my heart sank and it sank and it sank.
Michelle revealed how this struck a chord with her personal experiences from her teen years.
I was being bullied for giving hugs in middle school, right? But then I didn't know that 5 years down that line, all of my friends' parents had divorced. My parents were the only ones that stayed together, right? So there was a lack of intimacy that was shown in their world.
So that was, you were getting bullied because your parents hugged you?
Yeah, I was getting bullied because I would hug my
Oh my
friends
gosh.
and they would get
Yeah.
mad at me.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that their parents would not hug them back.
Yeah.
There was the parents had so many internal issues that they were not interacting with their kids like I was getting interacted with.
Yeah.
Right. So I was getting middle school was all about getting mad for getting
Mhm.
hugs. High school was all about getting, bullied for giving compliments. And then I changed high schools and I said, I'm not going to let my past define me. At the age of 15, I made this decision as I'm walking into junior high. I'm not going to let my past define me. I'm in a brand new environment. No one knows me for who I am. And I'm going to make the best of this experience. And so I did. I found new friends, and these friends are still friends till this date. I mean, we're more than just like happy birthday friends where we just wish each other. We literally have conversations. We are supportive of each other's dreams. We're there with each other because I made that mindset shift of I'm not going to let other people define me. I'm going to walk into this brand new environment and own that. Right. And
Yeah.
having that strength, having that courage to think that. Right. Because
Mhm.
I literally had failed sophomore year of high school.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah. I was in
And
honors for
kids
the
can be
first time in
brutal
my
about
life.
things like that.
Yeah, I was in honors for the first time in my life. I was like, wow, I actually fit into something because everybody around me was in honors. And I failed 3 of those, I think 6 classes that I had
Mm.
because I had just given up on school. Like my mental level was just depleted. I didn't care anymore. Right. And it's not because I didn't like school. I just didn't care. The negativity was just sinking me
Mhm.
inside. And so my parents knew something was wrong and they said, we need to get you out of there. And they did. And I didn't want to move because I didn't want them to see my grades. Right. Because if
Ooh,
I move, they're going to
right.
see my grades and it's a whole new conversation. And they said, that's okay. And so I ended up taking community college classes in lieu of the classes that I had failed. And so I was doing community
Oh.
college and high school at the same time. And I got into the dream college that I wanted, which was at that time Cal State Fullerton because
Nice.
of the major that they were offering.
Mhm.
And so that's where I learned about like personal development. I learned about speaking. I learned about embracing all of my strengths. And when it was like a really big coincidence when Cal State Fullerton said, hey, we want you to present at our first TEDx conference because I had spent 5 years of my life being part of that community. Right.
Well,
So,
and you're bringing such a powerful example back.
yes, yes.
Good
So
for you.
that's been my journey of how I really came about being here because my big mission is to just help people for the right reasons.
After an extremely disappointing experience with corporate America, Michelle finally found her true calling.
Okay, this is definitely a blessing. I think I'm going to go into human resources management instead. And so I signed up for UCLA Human Resources Management Certificate Program. And in that course, I realized my greatest strength, which was about leadership and development. And I realized that all along it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault that I got rejected or I got laid off or I had 8 managers in 8 months or my team disappeared. It was the company's core values that were not in alignment with mine. And it was the
Mm,
company's
yeah.
fault that I realized. And at that moment, I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. My dad said, hey, you know what? You can't live off of unemployment at this age. You're so young. You have your whole future ahead of you. You need to do something different. So why don't you come work with me? And I said, this is such a goal of mine when I'm in my 40s, definitely not in my 20s, right? Like I'm in my, and he said, no, just work with me. And so I did.
Recognizing working for her father as the opportunity that it truly was, put Michelle in a position to be able to take advantage of another mentor's guidance, which truly put her on the path to where she is today.
I got the flexibility I needed. And in 2015, I was volunteering at a local festival here in my city. And I had this elderly gentleman who was Indian ask me, what is it you want to do in life? And I said, I really want to help people for the right reasons. I don't want to like hurt them anymore. I don't want to be a product pusher. He goes, have you ever thought about life coaching? And I'm like, you mean to be a PE teacher or like a sports teacher? He goes, no, like you help people manage their life. And I'm like, huh, that is so cool. How do I start? He goes, well, my daughter's been doing it for 10 years and she loves it. Why don't you connect with her? I'll send you an email, connect with her, talk to her, see what's up. And
Yeah,
so,
and I apologize for laughing, but it's just what a wonderful response. So life call you be like be a PE teacher?
right? Like you
Oh my
think
gosh.
coach equals sports, right?
Yeah.
Who would have thought coaching equals life, right? And
Well,
I,
but in hindsight though, right? It makes more sense.
right, it makes more sense.
It,
So that's what happened. And then I
wow.
took my first class at Coactive Training Institute,
Hmm.
which is now, it was formerly known as Coaches Training Institute. So then I took a course at Coactive Training Institute,
Yeah.
and it was literally the missing puzzle piece of my life.
Wow.
I walked into that class. It was a 3-day weekend, and I told my dad, I'm going to go take this life coaching class. He goes, where are you going to get your clients from? And who's going to buy your services? And your life is already messed up. And who's going to do this? And I said, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know, but it is at a discounted rate. I'm going to say yes. Let's go forward. And so I did. And I learned about it and I fell in love with it. And I asked one of my friends, I said, I'm in this like life coaching program thing. He goes, why don't you coach me? I was like, really? He goes, yeah, 15 minutes for a week, every single week for 6 weeks. You in? And I said, yeah. At the end of the
Excellent.
weeks, he said, I learned more from you than I did investing $20,000 with a business coach. Michelle, you're on to
Wow.
something.
Michelle embraced that advice and seized the opportunity to begin coaching and mentoring teens.
Under the best of
That's definitely,
circumstances,
yes,
that's a tough season in life
exactly.
because of everything
Exactly.
that's going on, and you have really no control over what
You
you're
have
doing
no
unless you're.
control, and that's what happened, right? You have no
Yeah.
control, and you're just like a ping pong ball kind of going around other people's ideas, and no one's really asking you what you want. No one's asking you what you want to believe in. No one's asking you what voices you're telling yourself, right? What sentences you're telling yourself. You hear
Yeah.
I'm stupid like it's normal. You hear I'm an idiot like it's normal, and then you start living and making decisions based on being an idiot, based on being stupid, rather than really owning and saying, "No, I'm confident."
As hard as it is to get adults to talk about that, right? Because when you're a kid and someone says, do you hear, is it chatter in your head? It's like, yeah. When you're adult and someone says chatter in your head, it's like, no, 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 no. Because I don't want you to lock me up because I'm hearing voices.
Yeah,
But we don't,
exactly.
we just don't talk about that as adults. Yet when we do, how many of us as adults have those exact same voices
Exactly.
still?
It was so surprising
But
and
that's heartbreaking.
I just said, like these voices are only going to get amplified once they leave
Yeah.
middle school because
Yeah.
middle school is kind of like your safe zone. And then in high school, you're like thrown to the wolves, right? And then college, you're thrown to the lions, right? Like basically, like some will probably eat a part of you, but as you get older, they just eat all of you. And I said, I have to do something. So I immediately called up my business coach I was working with at that time. And I said, we have to shift gears now. We have to go from women coaching to teenage coaching only. I need to create a program for that. I need to write out like the whole details about it. Like we need to shift gears now. And I'm so glad I did because in 2020, I worked with the teenagers and I got them to graduate. I got them to get into their dream colleges. I really got them to really own a part of themselves of like, yes, they can do it.
How do we help teenagers with that? I mean, what can we do to continue helping them? Because like the example that you mentioned earlier, where you asked a room full of teenage students about, who has that conversation in their head and what does it say,
Yeah.
and to hear the 100% response going, oh yeah, we all do, and then the heartbreaking messages, the self
Yes.
talk they have.
So one
How
of the
can
things
how
I
can we
always
do a
tell
better job with
people,
them?
yeah, I always tell people like the number one thing is you have to realize who's in your head, right? What voices are they telling you? I am stupid is as equivalent to I am smart because any I am statement is from your soul. So I am statements shape your reality. So I am stupid basically means that everything around you is going to feel like stupid because you're projecting that. You're stating that. If you say I'm smart, then everything around you will feel like it's smart, right? So the choice is what sentence are you telling about yourself? Number one. Number two, you have to really believe that you can achieve it no matter what the circumstances is. And so Jack Canfield has this principle that says E plus R equals the O. Event or the experience is constant. We have a pandemic, you can't change that. There's COVID-19, you can't change that, right? Flu season, you can't change that. You have an exam coming up, you can't change that, right? But how you react to these events or experiences is going to determine the outcome. You can react in a very negative way. Woohoo, the pandemic means I don't have to show up in school anymore, which means online school, which means pajamas all day, every day, right? Or you could react, oh my God, this pandemic sucks. I'm stuck at home. I'm horrible. Or you could say, you know what? I'm scared of the exam. I'm feeling anxious. I don't know if I can breathe. Or you could say, you know what? Exam is just a learning opportunity, is to help me realize what I've learned. Is just a learning opportunity, just a test to see do I know the material or not? Right. And you say it in that way, and then you can determine the outcome. So some outcomes are extremely positive because you're embracing it. Some outcomes are extremely negative because you're rejecting them. You're saying, no, I don't want this. Right. So pay attention to your reactions to every situation that comes in front of you. Right.
So
And
then
that's going to help you change your mindset.
All of Michelle's work finally came together in the opportunity to be able to speak with and work with a group of high school students.
I gave a presentation at a local high school here earlier this year. And I just had like there were kids that were like, freshmen all the way up to seniors, and some were in like they had like assistants working with them. And the feedback I got at the end of the class, they said, Miss Michelle, I'm so much more happier now. Miss Michelle, like, thank you so much for being here. When are you coming back? And that feedback I got made me realize like they truly have the spark, is that they have been shut down by other people's voices, the other people's labels that have prevented their light to shine the brightest that they can be. And I had this one student, I had pulled her out in front of the whole class, and I guess there were like 30, 40 kids in the classroom. And I said, why don't you come up here and tell me, why don't you not like school? Because she's like, I hate school. I was like, why don't you not like it? She goes, well, I'm failing all my classes. And I said, how would it feel if you weren't failing your classes? She goes, well, I would be a little bit more happier. Right. And I said, what do you need to do to get better grades? She goes, I'm willing to study more. I said, well, during the spring break, will you take the time to study a little bit more? And she goes, yeah, I guess I could do that. And I saw her after spring break, and I said, hey, how's your grades now? She goes, I went from an F to a B minus. and I had like tears in my eyes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, from an F to a B minus.
Yeah, because of the fact that her mindset had to be shifted.
Michelle, thank you so much for what you're doing. Thanks for saying yes and being on the show.
Thank you so much for the viewers for being here. It's it's been such an honor connecting with all of you. Please look at my website, visit me. For all the listeners, I'm actually going to give you the opportunity to have a confidence strategy session with me.
Mhm.
Let's talk about your goals. Let's talk about the struggles that you are facing in your family life, or if you're as a teenager, whatever issues you're solving. Let's talk about that and let's build a connection, because right now community is needed more than ever.
Oh,
And
yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
thank you so much for letting me be here. So I'll send you my calendar link. You guys, please visit my website. And I have a free gift that I'm offering as well to all the parents of teenagers and teenagers. It's called Motivate Your Teen Success Guide. These are 10 success secrets to help you enhance your positivity in your life as well. As a family, you all can work together. So this is like 10 success secret tips to help you enhance motivation in your life.
Thank you for joining the conversation.